Welcome to Wealth Coffee Chats, folks, for your daily live updates. Get the most out of today's episode by participating in the chat. Make sure you ask some questions, be part of the conversation, have a bit of fun, grab a coffee or a tea, take some notes, and get ready to start your day, folks. Quick few housekeeping rules, though. No spamming, no advertising or self-promotion in the chat. That's not on. Be kind and respectful to everyone when participating. And most of all, have a good time. Real estate investing can be your biggest asset. It also can be your most expensive asset when it comes to getting it right or getting it wrong, folks. It can be time-consuming, stressful, and that's why here at Positive, we have what's called a 6-star team, a full-service team that provides integrated wealth and property investing solutions and services simply designed to help you progress towards your goal of passive income through your property portfolio, folks. Make sure you check out our other podcasts on the Positive Mentor Network. Not only is there Wealth Coffee Chats, there's the Urban Property Investor. Drops every Wednesday with straight talking investing strategies and lessons with Sam Saggers. Property Investor Tales. This is where our clients, you guys, share real life stories from property investing, hosted by some of our advisors and strategists. And that's done every fortnight, dropping every Monday. Wealth, Wine and Wisdom, folks, that debriefs the week that was in the world of finance and property, hosted by yours truly, Jason Witten and Andy Fenton on Fridays. Welcome to another Wealth Coffee Chat. Marvellous Monday. Hope you're well, folks, wherever you are. If you think it's Get Rich Quick, you're in the wrong place. This is the wrong podcast. This is the wrong live for you. Welcome to another Wealth Coffee Chat. Hope you're all awesome and well. Hello, hello. Good morning, folks. Good to see you here. Welcome to Wealth Coffee Chats. Got a couple of early birds up and at it, which is awesome. So good to have you. Morning, Kevin. How are you, mate? All the way from Florida. While we're getting things warmed up, folks, say a quick hello on the chat. Give us a shout out just to make sure that everyone's here this morning. We'll do the quick intros while we're waiting for those to jump on who might be out and about doing what they do. If you're new, hello. Jason Witten's my name. If you didn't already know, most of you do know that though. But if you didn't, now you know. Good to see you here. We've been doing these Wealth Coffee Chats for a little while. And we get together about 10 past 8 each weekday, folks. Have a quick conversation about the world of investing, world of property investing, and how we can navigate that. You, me, many of us who jump on these Wealth Coffee Chats, creating, building property portfolios. And unless you've been living under a rock or unless you've been living in Disneyland or Fairyland, we all know that it takes a bit of time to build a property portfolio. And staying on track's probably an important thing. There you go. So welcome along. Bart, good to see you, mate. Thanks for joining. Newbie or maybe new from YouTube. Fabulous to have you here. Jeff, all the way from Krabi. Mate, hey, Krabi's fantastic. Are you going climbing there? Jeff, how good is the limestone cliffs all around Krabi? I love Krabi. Been over there climbing myself in Thailand. Fantastic spot for it. Dave, morning. How are you? Good to see you. Thanks for joining this morning, team. There's Tim as well. Mate, how are you? Good to have you here, folks. Hey, listen, thought we might talk a little bit about something that I see out there in the world of our super, our money, our taxes. You know, the send us some photos, Jeff. Send us some photos. Anyway, there you go. Hey, morning, Sonia. It's an interesting one, folks. What's the number one eroder of wealth in Australia? Put this one in the chat for me. Get involved. You guys know this. We call them the number one menace. What is the number one eroder of wealth? We call them the number one menace. Whether it's intentional or not, you can sort of jump in and jump out of, conspiracy theories. But really, at the end of the day, there's one set of let's call them people. But anyway, the politicians, folks, unless you're not paying attention, they erode your wealth, change the rules, change their mind. Yep, and the government. And really don't give a rat's ass about you. No, they don't give two shits about you as an individual. They say they do, but they don't. I haven't met one yet. It doesn't matter who they are, whether they're Greens, Liberals, Labor, or some weird bloody independent party. They don't give a rat's ass, folks. At the end of the day, sadly, and I don't think it's any different around the world, sadly, their number one thing is to get re-elected and butter their own bread in the world of our system. And that comes down to, for us as property investors and investors, taking care of our money, or them trying to get hold of our money, right? The system, the government helped us achieve some of the biggest debts we've ever had in Australia's history. And now they're all scrambling to try and reduce that debt. And they're putting their grotty fingers into pies that were in previous years promised just to be ours. And now they're having a crack at it. So, where are the two places, folks? Where's the two big places of wealth for most Australians? Put that in the chat for me as we get on to this morning's conversation, because what's going on there? Let's see if this put it in the chat for me. Where are the two big conversations of wealth, folks? Yep, super and real estate. You're dead right. Tim. Now my little iPad's not working, which is a real shame. Anyway, we'll close that and see what happens. So they're the two major. I'll do this anyway. See if I can get my iPad going. They're the two major places, folks. They're the two major places that we have wealth in Australia, right? For all of us, for you, me, for the government to try and get hold of it. Where do we store our money? Where do we store our wealth as Australians? And they're the two places, right? So at the end of the day, they're pretty good at taxing us when it comes to our incomes, our personal incomes. Over the years, they've talked about a safe place for us to put some money for the future. And whereas that, safe place of putting some money for the future been, team, they've encouraged us. They've encouraged the Aussie to put our money in two places, right? Two places, which is becoming quite apparent whether it was a strategy or not in the beginning. Number one, your home. Hey, everyone deserves a home. Let's get it. Let's get people's money into the great Australian dream, your PPR, your principal place of residence. Okay, your principal place of residence. And your super. All right, your super is there. And, you should put money into your super, and it's for retirement. So, does anybody remember the rhetoric? And it's a really interesting one, because our children, my children, maybe some of your children, maybe some younger people sort of in their 20s right now, and maybe a bit older, maybe in their 30s, there's a generation. My parents didn't start their working life with super, right? So, folks, when did super come into when was super introduced in Australia? I don't know. I'm just having a look. Introduced in Australia. Because 1992. There you go. Super was reduced in 1992. Okay, so for and it was. Does anyone know what the percentage was that it got introduced at, folks? In the contribution at in 1992. 1992. Trina, you got a good memory, Trina. Well, It says here on the internet, 1992. So we'll roll with that one, right? Let's have a look at this, because this is really interesting. And stick with me this morning. There is a point to my rhetoric and conversation as we're going along. Oh, there you go. They swapped up. Well, Tim, you're gonna. This is an interesting one, Tim. There's gonna be a little maybe sting in the tail on this one. So hang around. So the government introduced super guarantee, 3%. In 1992, and who had to pay it? It wasn't you as the employee; it was the employers. So if you're on the business side of life, technically that became a tax. If most business owners have an increase in their cost, folks, what do? What does most business owners, good smart business owners, eventually do this? If suddenly my cost of goods went up 3%, what happens, folks? What happens? What happens? And this happens with rent as well. So the banks put the interest rates up. Yeah, you pass it on. Exactly, Jeff. So ultimately, folks, this was a tax to all of us as we go along. But okay, so 3% in 1992. What's the super amount now, and where's it going? What's the contribution rate into the future? How much, folks? Put it in the chat. So what are we at now? I think we're at 11% now, aren't we? And they're marching it on up. They're marching it to 12.5%. Morning, Tony. Good to see you there, mate. There's Tony. Hey, morning, Robin. Good to see you. Yep. It gets passed on to the consumer, gets passed on to you and me. Like at the end of the day, folks, it's not free. It's not free. Yes, let's say it's compulsory for the employer to pay it. But at the end of the day, that employer, if they're, running a business, will ultimately pass it on to you, the consumer, me, the consumer. So we're paying for our own future. Anyway, gets me riled up. So 3% to 12.5%. 12.5%. There we go. 12.5%. So at the moment, the two biggest places of wealth in Australia, trillions of dollars in property and trillions of dollars in super. It's one of the largest superannuation lump sum pieces of cash in the world. Australia's done, a reasonable job on that. And why were these two places attractive, folks? Like when you and I talk, when we talk strategy about investing, why are these two things? Why are these two things attractive to you and me when we put together our strategy of creating wealth and keeping more of the money we earn and not giving it to these muppets that waste it? Why are those two places attractive? That's right, tax incentives. That's tax. So tax incentives. So at the moment, there is zero capital gains tax on a home. And with super, there is, low tax, 15% on income and 10% on capital gain in accumulation phase. And in retirement phase, you've worked 30, 40, 50, 60 years. You've put some money away. You're looking after yourself. You're not going to be a burden on the government, right? And they say, all right, well, the money that you earn from there is 0 and 0. Now, I think that's fantastic. And now I wasn't even upset that at some point they said over 3 million, we're gonna tax it. Okay, and I'm like, that's fine. That makes sense to me. I hate when they change the rules. That's really scumbaggish as far as I'm concerned. Here's how it works until we decide it doesn't, right? So that's just, how can you have certainty when the government changes all the rules? Like they're pricks. Anyway, there you go. So that's why everyone goes, all right, that's a place to put some wealth. Let's build some wealth in there. So, all right, well, here's here's what's going on. They see all the older people with the wealth, and the government's like, all right, how do we get our dirty, grotty fingers into that wealth because we want some? All right, so here's what's going on, folks. They said, all right, well, we're gonna get a hold of this now. So most of you know, if you haven't already, that from 2025 or this financial year onwards, or the next one, it's the next one, 2025, I think it is. That any super funds that have got more than $3 million worth of wealth in there are going to have attracted extra tax, right? Everyone good with that? Everyone good with that? So if your super has more than 3 million of wealth, then there's more tax payable, okay? Up here, more tax payable. That's terrible writing. Anyway, but does anyone know what else is going on? Does anyone know what else is going on in the world of taxing right now when it comes to this stuff? Anyone heard of the other little maneuver that's happening in here? And this is, Tim, this is yeah, exactly, Tim. This is the one we got to keep an eye on right now, folks. There is right now a proposal on the by the existing government that yeah, you got to look at your valuations now. Yep, absolutely. So the government is proposing, folks. The government is proposing. Let me put this up here. The government is proposing to tax unrealized capital gains inside your super. Okay, so any properties, any value over 30%, and this is where I'm getting some details on it, and Andy's going to come along and talk about this. Where is it? There we go. So what they want to do is, if your values are over 3 million, and yep, that's not fair. That's it, Robin. And this is the thing, folks. You're dead right, Robin. It's not fair. You've made a gain on paper, and now you've got to pay tax, even though you actually haven't realized that gain in cash, right? It's a joke. Absolute highway robbery, folks. And it's and I'm going to get Andy and a few of the tax experts to come along and talk about these things, right? So not only are they now forcing people to put more of their wealth into super, this is how, and this is where the old the aluminium tinfoil hat comes about, you know. Let's force people to put money into super that they can't do anything with, and then we'll put our grotty fingers in there with our mates from the bank, right? So we can all this money and we can tax it more, right? A bunch of pricks, right? Now, and it means all of these assets in their super, but we can't get hold of it. Oh shit! How can we get hold of their money? All right, well, let's tax things that go up in value, but they actually haven't realized any of the cash. Let's tax unrealized capital gains. What a joke, right? And that's what's afoot, folks. So you got to keep an eye on what's going on out there in the world of that's right, Robin. You're dead right. And that was the other one. You know, it's a tax. It's a Division 293 tax. Oh, here's a thing. You go work harder, be better at your job, your career, your business. Well done. And when you do that, we'll tax you more. There you go. And they don't give it back when it goes down, Trina. Right? They don't give it back when it goes down. That's the proposal in that sort of stuff. And here's one for you, Tim. And if this gets up, you might be a bit annoyed with this. So anyone who's got a defined benefit scheme who works for the government, which includes the politicians, folks, right? Includes the politicians. Guess what? if it gets up, they can get a interest-free loan forever on the capital gains that they have to pay. So they can get a free loan. They can get a free loan, right? They can get a free loan to pay their taxes, where you and me, who don't work for the government or aren't politicians, can't get a free loan. We have to sell our assets. What a joke. What a joke. What a joke. Anyway, there you go. There you go. Folks, what's the takeaway today? 2 takeaways for me. I would sort of, chuck out there for a conversation. Keep an eye on what the government's doing and be smart about who you vote for. At the end of the day, I don't think any of them are better than any others, to be honest. So just keep an eye on the ones that are in power. And when it comes to our wealth, our money, folks, I think you should be in charge of all of it everywhere, right? You should get a great team of people around you. You guys know the drill. You guys know the drill, right? You guys know the drill. You get a core 4 or a 6-star team around you, some good experts who are on your side, help you navigate this stuff. Now, is there things that we can do? The answer is yes. The answer is yes. You got to get ahead of it. You got to learn. You got to get the right team around you. You got to navigate this stuff, because if you just sit there passively or you're not paying attention, you'll get to wherever you're going when it comes to, the world of retirement or bloody financial freedom or whatever you want. And you'll go, what the hell happened to all my money? Where did my stuff go? Yeah, there you go. Keep an eye on it. We're doing it together. That's what we're all here for. Wealth Coffee Chats and, those in the exit plan and positive real estate and mentoring, that's what we're all here. We're all here to keep an eye on this stuff together, because together we've got some leverage and power. And as individuals, that's why the government likes to sort of split you up, keep you apart. Anyway, there you go. Good on you, folks. That's it. I'm just dribbling on now. Keep an eye on your stuff. Give us a shout out if you need a hand. We've got plenty of great, awesome team members who can help you manage this stuff anyway. There you go. All right, folks, that's it from me. Good to have you here for Wealth Coffee Chats. Make sure you join us tomorrow for some more. One of the team tomorrow will be running Wealth Coffee Chats. Cass from the property management team does a Wealth Coffee Chat on a Wednesday. So enjoy that tomorrow, and I'll be back on Thursday. All right, folks, that's it from me. Good to see you. Thanks for joining us. Take care. Bye for now. Episode of Wealth Coffee Chat, folks. Make sure you like, subscribe, and turn on your notifications so you never miss a thing when we go live. Improve your portfolio and investing game, folks, with Wealth Coffee Chats live every morning at 8:10 each weekday. Make sure you join us. Previous episodes are also available wherever you get your podcasts, folks, as well as our other podcasts from the 6-star team here at positivementor.com.au.